Hey all, here OS Reviews. In this video, we're taking an early hands-on first look at the Miix Key. This is a relatively unique and pretty cool physical security key, aka used for two-factor authentication. For example, when you're logging into your email, when you're shopping on sites like eBay, Amazon, oftentimes for added layer of security, it'll prompt you to add a security key like this, which needs to be verified by connecting to your computer or phone before you're able to successfully log in. And so even if your password leaks or someone somehow steals your password, they're still not able to get into your more sensitive account just because you need to physically connect a hardware device like this, a security key, for it to be completely authenticated. And so in the past, there have been previous security keys from brands like YubiKey that have been relatively popular, working in a similar way, but many of the lower cost versions are USB only. You have to plug it into the physical port and then tap there to unlock. So of course, just make sure that you don't actually lose the key itself, and you should be good to go in terms of adding another layer of security to your social media, shopping, and more data sensitive accounts. So the twist with the Miix Key is clearly this model now has a touchscreen display that measures 2 inches diagonally, and technically has a built-in battery as well, because it's able to operate in a wireless Bluetooth or NFC modes as well. So aside from connecting it using USB to your computer in the normal wired security key method, you can also use it wirelessly via Bluetooth on supported phones and computers that allow you to authenticate using a wireless security key. And there's also built-in NFC coils on the back here as well. So you can use it as a NFC card as another added smart feature. For example, tapping to enter a building. You can actually store around 8 NFC card data inside of the Miix Key as well, as a secondary use if you just hang it onto your backpack or place it into a wallet. Now, having this display also serves a few other purposes, such as the ability to access and manage some basic data from the key itself instead of having to set it up completely using a computer for the very first time. Basically granting you access to password management. You can also delete some of the unused keys or passwords directly on the device using the touchscreen if you prefer, as well as generate new ones. So there is a built-in battery, and technically it's powered by ESP32 as the microcontroller inside. But I can say that the build quality seems relatively robust. It still is decently compact next to a standard-sized phone or computer, as you can see next to it. And there is a lanyard strap on the very top that you can hang onto a keychain a bit more easily, along with a brass-coated power key, in addition to having an aluminum alloy shell that feels, again, relatively solid and cold to the touch. It charges up in around an hour and should last you for around a week or so in the detached offline mode, if you want to access the touchscreen functionality. And then of course it can be operated when plugged in and charging at the same time as well in the wired mode too. Now when you first swipe up, you actually have to unlock it using a password or PIN for added security. And after which point we're presented to a pretty simple UI. You're able to manage over 3,000 passwords on here as well. So aside from two-factor authentication, it's also a password keeper. So for example, if you're trying to log into a website, you can generate a randomized password and then save that data on here and then just rely on this to unlock it each time. You don't have to remember the complex string of numbers compared to if you're always reusing the same password for every single website. It can be potentially less safe since there's less entropy involved. And so security experts typically recommend that you use a randomized string, but if you find that hard to remember, if you don't want to really write it down somewhere, a device like this can actually store around 3,000 of those. So really for any field where a password is required, you can also use this as a dedicated password keeper instead of relying on your browser, since this device is completely offline, similar to a cold wallet. So that is an additional functionality. You can also search up your previous passwords, in addition to acting as the physical security keys, which you have around 5 of those slots on here. And yes, that is also going to be one additional benefit here compared to a traditional YubiKey or security key, where typically you can only hold maybe one specific profile per device. On here, you're able to switch between 5 profiles. For example, maybe the first profile is for work, the second profile might be for entertainment, personal use. Another profile might be for school or for a child. And so you're able to basically remotely manage up to 5 different accounts. It can be 5 people in your family, sets of user data that you're trying to switch back and forth between. So again, in profile 1, you can use it as a YubiKey to log into your personal Gmail. And then for profile 2, you can log into another Gmail account that might be used for work, so on and so forth, compared to only having one specific profile assignable on some of the basic YubiKey devices on the market. So you have a few more that you can switch between. And aside from that, it can also be used for some basic scripting as well as development purposes. Aside from the FIDO2 standard, which is most commonly used for YubiKeys, as well as two-factor authentication on shopping and social media websites, including Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, so on and so forth. But you can also play around with OpenPGP and PIV standards as well, even though in the consumer space, those standards might be a little bit more rare. They're more commonly used in enterprise applications, but those protocols are also supported on this device. So it gives you a bit more flexibility. And they claim that all of this is encrypted by AES 256 as well, so it should be relatively secure, hack-proof. All of the data stays offline, that nothing is backed up to the cloud, and even comes with something called a dangerous mode and a emergency mode. Essentially, if you feel like the device is at risk of getting lost or stolen, you can also set it up to basically delete all of the data on it and wipe it, granting access to a decoy or basically a fake profile. And so even if someone steals this hardware key, they're still not able to access your account, which is a pretty smart concept, at least on paper. And then the emergency mode is basically a delay mode. So if you want to give this to a trusted family member or a friend, you can also give them a password or PIN, and then the person has to connect this to a USB power source for X hours. After the timer counts down to 0, they're able to enter the PIN and then sign into whatever account or site that you give them access to. So for example, you can set a 48-hour delay, and the person is only able to gain access to the account using this key after 48 hours has counted down. And that countdown begins once they connect it to a power source. So also a pretty unique idea, adding this countdown functionality, which is something I haven't really seen before on any other security key, at least the more entry-level models that we've seen in the past. And whenever you want to add a secondary security key on any account, simply connect the key to add it and you're ready to go. So it is compatible with pretty much any browser, whether it's Chrome, Edge, as Firefox, as well as pretty much any operating system as well that recognizes USB devices, including Windows, Mac computers, Linux, so on and so forth. So relatively universal as far as support is concerned. And again, being able to log in with just one tap, as well as generate random passwords with one click as well. Also acting as a basic clock when it's in the kind of wake and unlock mode, as you can tell here, kind of reminding me of a smartwatch in a way because of the 2-inch screen. So combining some of these features into one. Now what I will say though is again, one feature that would have been nice to see would have been perhaps a biometric fingerprint scanner. There are some higher end dedicated YubiKeys in the form of a USB thumb drive that are starting to integrate a fingerprint reader on the very top. So aside from inserting the physical device, it also asks you to authenticate using your specific finger as an extra layer of security, especially considering that this thing is not the cheapest physical security key on the market. In fact, it is a little bit on the pricey side. Current early bird pricing is going to run you around $100. Now, in this current economy with inflation, yes, there's many factors coming into play, but just as a rough reference, some of the basic YubiKeys on the market can be found for as low as around maybe $30, $35, and some of the more fancy ones that also come with NFC capability sometimes sell for around $50 to $60. So keep that in mind. You are paying a little bit more for this slightly fancier design with this 2-inch touchscreen display, which they claim is the world's first for a physical security key. Also, one other footnote would be I kind of wish maybe they would offer a few other watch dials or faces that you can customize it with, again, like a smartwatch, for further customization. But again, currently there is no optional app or really any additional way for you to change the background image or style of the clock. But I do think it looks relatively elegant, minimalistic, maybe in a Nothing or a Pebble OS inspired way, like a Pebble watch, looking relatively clean. And by the way, you can also batch import passwords that you've saved in the browser using a tool like KeePass, spelled Keepass, and you're able to, in one batch, save hundreds or thousands of historical passwords on here as well, instead of having to enter them one by one, or of course start from scratch and create new passwords from the device itself. So for example, tapping here, you're able to then enter a field using the T9 style keyboard over here. There is no QWERTY layout, it seems, because the size of the display is relatively limited. Maybe that's something they can add in a future software update, some type of accelerometer accelerometer or motion sensor that can allow you to type in the normal QWERTY layout instead, but it certainly works. You can also long hold for it to enter a number instead, as you can tell there, compared to if you tap very quickly, you're able to enter the specific alphabetical number or let it save after a brief second before continuing, so on and so forth. And these passwords can be up to 64 characters long, combination of uppercase, lowercase, symbols, so on and so forth. You can also swipe on the left here to go back by one page, similar to smartwatches. As for a couple of additional settings on here, you can also change the display brightness, relatively simple, in addition to a auto timeout functionality to consume less power, activate the USB mode, turn this on or off. Again, some of these basic functions you can also trigger, including turning NFC on and off from here as well, enter a battery saving mode, also manually set up the time and date for the initial clock screen that we saw there as the wallpaper. Basically, you're able to change from here as well, change the time zone, turning on and off again some of these basic functionality you can see here as well. So using this as a quick demo or sample, you're able to add a physical security key, and afterwards connecting the device. Once it's recognized, we can then tap to confirm OK on the display of the Miix Key. Afterwards, we have to set a password, it looks like, as another layer of security on the device. And after we confirm the password, it's now saved. We're now able to test this out and see if the key is working as expected when you're signing into your website or your account. And afterwards, we connect the key again. It's been recognized. Tap on OK, the touchscreen basically, to confirm that action, and then type in your password again, tap on confirm, and then you're able to sign in or log in, as you can see on this current page. So it requires an extra layer of that prompting through the touchscreen of the device for you to sign in. So it's not using the brass key on the top as the kind of touch command. The target is actually on the display itself. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, overall it's working as expected. Here's another example that we can verify. Tap to register using a key. And now it's actually prompted us and said that it's recognized that another website is trying to save its information, the token over here on this particular site. We can tap to confirm. Registration has now been completed. All the password information has been saved over on the physical device. We can now test the login over here to tap to log in. The key has been successfully connected. Tap here to confirm. Afterwards, it's recognized here that we have connected our device again, confirm, and now we have logged in successfully. So that's the flow of how it functions by plugging it in and then basically touching the display, entering your password, and then tapping again to confirm before you are into your account. So you get the idea. It basically adds another layer of security so that someone has your password or PIN, they're not able to gain access to your account immediately. It needs this physical hardware device, kind of like a handshake that's going on that is unique to the information stored on this physical device. Even if someone else has another security key, they're not able to sign in either. It has to be this very specific one that gets verified once you plug it in. Or again, you're also able to use it in the Bluetooth security key mode as well if your device supports wireless security keys, but it functions in pretty much the exact same way. And really, it's working in the same way when it comes to Gmail, Google accounts as well. So you're able to go over to the passkeys and security key section. We can tap to create a passkey in which our connected Miix Key has been detected, entering the PIN again specific for this profile. And afterwards, now it's telling us that it's recognized using the FIDO2 standard that we're trying to save our Google account information into this security key. It'll time out after a few seconds of inactivity, but once you set it up, it'll work in, again, the same way as other YubiKeys and physical security key devices where you can just tap on here basically to unlock and gain access to your Google account, your more sensitive data, if you turn on two-factor authentication, which is definitely recommended for more privacy and security conscious accounts, just as an FYI. So yeah, there we have it. That is more or less it as far as our first hands-on look at the Miix Key. Again, the first smart security two-factor authentication FIDO2 based key that has a built-in touchscreen and some additional management that you can do like a built-in keyboard using the UI of this device itself. It kind of reminds me of a tiny or minimalist style, almost like an e-ink style phone, even though obviously it's still an LCD screen, but just drawing some parallels to some minimalist style devices out there, including some tiny card-sized phones that we've reviewed in the past, like this one, which is a Unihertz Jelly. You can see the size difference there. But of course, this one doesn't make calls or do anything like that. But still, it adds a bit more functionality compared to your more conventional hardware-based security key by adding this display in. the ability for you to switch between 5 different profiles, aka 5 of these basically slots in one, signing in with one click, as well as just adding another layer of protection for two-factor authentication enabled websites using FIDO2. So if you're interested in something like this, you can check out more details in the links down below. For now, that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.